My mind does work in strange ways, though. So, as we get into this, well, Modpack Madness run, we're gonna switch characters right after this video, but as we get Katak Roll to 4, pretty normal run. What we're not doing may, well, what we're doing may not be normal. Or what we're doing may, I'm losing my mind. Anyway, let's just move on for the sake of timestamps. So, without further ado, because we still have one more video left with this character, and yeah, that's all I really need to say. So, as we get into this Katak World of Horror run, keeping in mind, yeah, we don't have a lot of strength to work with. In fact, we don't have a lot of any stats to work with, but we'll work with it. Strength, Charisma, Second Encounter, Takshisan Knowledge, and maybe a Light check? And I think I do need to rotate Mysteries soon, but again, they happen in multiples of episodes of 25, so I mean, that's all I can really say at the moment. So, what do we have on our plate today? Library notes. Hey, give me a good spell at least. Although that would be, I mean, that would be kind of breaking the... What am I trying to say? I do say a lot of things that are stream of conscious, so, I mean... Even if I'm wrong, though that's not good to be wrong, I should say that things are not true, as we have Ward, Nails, Akamanto. Okay, fine, 3... Maybe 4 boss mysteries back-to-back, but we gotta take one of them, so we'll take... yeah, we'll take Nails now and just eat the damage. We have Memory Extract, but yeah. But I think as long as one of the bare minimums I want to reach is that if what I say allows people to reinforce or get their own brain cells moving, I feel like that's at least some good. But obviously, if we're to take a step back, yes, really I am trying to say things that I think are true to be informative. But if I'm spreading misinformation, that's just as bad. By the way, okay, Army Knife. And I hope you don't break a bone, and that'll be the quick end to this run. Oh, max high threat level, max seaside, max, or not, max mansion, max school. Akamanto, Colt, Nails, and something else. But considering that school is at max threat level and we have Akamanto as well, yeah, let's just put the patrols in the school for now. And also, as I mentioned before, I do like to offer suggestions or something rather than just note something and leave it there, if it makes sense. There are some things that, I mean, I will just leave without suggesting too much, but I might make, I might try to theorize on why something's happened. I think a very common example, especially of recent videos, are things that happen in World of Horror, whether they're bugs, whether they're gameplay features, whether the gameplay balances, things that can make characters stronger or weaker. I will make note of things and suggest things here and there, but obviously I don't know how World of Horror actually functions. Nice 10 roll, by the way, game. So, I can only say so much, and it might be just completely false, but that doesn't mean that it's completely wrong either. Though in my case, I sometimes say things that are just outright wrong, so again, I hope that at least it gets people's brain cells moving. Basically on this channel, and I think anywhere else really, you want to use your own brain cells, and by that I mean critical thinking is a very important skill to have. I often don't think critically as well, but I try to. Nice 11. Wow, my charisma being at 2 really didn't matter this run, so I guess we're just gonna fight this. 3 stamina damage, and I think we just trade blows. I could trade off some reason, but instead I'm gonna gamble on a coin flip. This is not the encounter I would want to gamble on, but it seems to be it's gonna get really close. So I can trade off 2 reason to force the next turn, because otherwise I'm taking a risk anyway, I'm pretty sure. I mean, we might as well just do something now. So, to do, yeah, attack into strong. At best, we have like 35% chance to hit both attacks, so that's why I'm going to do what I'm going to do, which is going to be prep strong and then trade 2 reason for stamina. I always forget, yes, I do forget what the action name is called, but anywho. And so now we can do this, because even with, I think, 2 attacks, it's not guaranteed. No. So I would have a 65% chance, so doubled my odds from the attack strong, but we don't need to do that if our reason is at 3 or lower. And hence why the Army Knife, along with the Monkey Wrench, is very, very good. That extra, literally an extra 3 damage, because weapons that do 4 base damage only get 12 on Desperate Struggle, while weapons that have a base of 5 damage. For those who didn't know, in case you're watching this as a new video, or it's a new... You've never seen this channel? Yeah, base weapons that do 5 damage do 15. So that's quite a jump in a game where a value of 1 can mean a lot. I forgot to get the hospital pass, by the way, so I guess we'll take Akamanto next. We're leaving Cult for later, but that's hoping that we fail, because we have 2 charisma. So if we don't fail that, I mean, it's still bad RNG in the end, but hey. Yeah, is there anything else that we need to do? Not at the moment. I do want to consider healing stamina, but meh. So, yeah, even easy, quote-unquote, easy encounters like this can be very, very painful. Now, we just need to hit this to get out in 2 turns, but you get the point. 17 experience for that? Yeah, that's pretty good. And a human skull, something to throw. But the rest of this run is still looking really, really bad. Don't have time for it, just take the free out, because I think that's just pain all over. Donuts are pain and roll to 4, that's a quote. Yeah, we'll do Doom, because we're missing HP, and off we go. Keeping in mind, I do need to get the thingamajiggy. So you know what we're actually gonna do? Yeah, so what we're gonna actually do is right after this encounter, I'm gonna use the library. I mean, I could just use the library notes now, but... And yes, I still do have memory drain, or memory extract. Oh my god, I'm going absolutely insane. But I'm gonna level up now. So... And get nothing for it. Well, we'll take quick thinking for what it's worth, but... So, let's see. I think we can... Yeah, I think we have a few investigations left still. My mind is going completely away from me. I'm actually recording this at a time of the night instead of the... despite what this in-game chat says, because... yeah, time. So... Let's rest, because otherwise we will die. So there goes our rest assist bonus. But basically, the doom that decreases from the mask is being refunded in terms of just HP here. So, shrug. But, oh my goodness, the penalty damage left, right, and center. Well, in we go. And we... do I need to do a thing? I feel like this encounter was bugged as well, but you know what? We're going to find out. So, if I can do this, I don't need to toss the human skull. It would be nice. And now we just do this. Oh my goodness, 3 all damage. In fact, if I throw the human skull, I don't even have to use the handcuffs. So you know what? I'd rather do that. But we'll use... Well, yeah, we'll prep the handcuffs just in case. Because I made math errors before. Also, at the time of this video, I have not yet timestamped the stream that I just did as of, you know, relative to this video's release. Or recording, at least, so I need to do that. But I forgot to get the thing, because I used the library notes to... Or I wanted to use the library notes to get the hospital pass. I guess we'll do Colt now, then. That does mean we might have to run away from the friend, although we do still have the handcuffs, so it's something to think about. But we definitely want the hospital pass. I mean, I do personally think it's worth still getting the hospital pass and leaving ward for later if you forget about it. You shouldn't forget about it, but in this case, I forgot about it, so we're taking ward for it. But in the meanwhile... We'll do our best to survive. How much experience are you going to give me? For 2 Doom? 13 experience. Yeah, give me, like, a lot of custom enemies give you quite the number of experience, even though it doesn't look like it. By the way, we just use the corpse dust now. And hopefully we don't die to penalty damage in the school, because we could. Well, that was just a linked event. I don't want to rest, though, so you know what? We're going to risk this, and maybe this is going to be a short 9 to 10 minute video. We're just going to take stamina. Okay, never mind. I'm not even going to risk it. So, we're going to heal stamina here really quickly and get branded. Give me the followers so I can avoid this boss. And yeah, this run looks a little better, but it's still going to get really dicey. Or it can get really dicey. And by that, I mean I just died to reason immediately. So, as we go to the left corridor... we're just gonna go for the 1-tap. We might as well. We're out in 2 turns pretty much anyway. Unless we miss both of these attacks, then I just cry and be sad for a moment. I mean, I will just flop into the bed that's behind me, so... Okay, good. Let's level up quickly. Again, keeping in mind we have memory extract. Hot bath is nice. But I'd rather take perception... No, hot bath is nice. Especially if we get fetid fumes, so... Funny enough... I think it's worth it. I am going to go for the funds, and yeah. Oh no, I lowered my luck by using the corpse dust. Oh, what a shame. How could I have ever passed that 12 luck roll? I'm gonna keep making fun of that, really. Again, and it's not towards anyone, like I'm just making fun of the concept of that, if for no other reason than to remind myself that as I'm developing my own games and working on real life, anything else, because RNG does exist in real life, yeah. Leaving things up to RNG, there will be a subset of people who just fail left, right, and center, no matter how high or no matter how doable. And if nothing else, it teaches me that gambling is a heck of a thing. Not that I'm saying, you know, you do what you want with your own money, as long as it's legal in your place of residence, but, yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be gambling, it's usually going to be for free, or just not a lot of money. Basically, it's an entertainment activity. You are literally throwing money away for an experience. In my brain. Is this real, by the way? So it says cost. This should not be real. Okay, good. And off we go. So Curious Package, Curious George, Curious Patience, Curious Visitors? Anywho. Fungal Growth, doesn't matter for the moment, but could be something. So we are going to take a boatload of stamina damage. I also should have grabbed the painkillers, but it's fine. In fact, I'm going to grab it now. And away we go. 62% Doom. If we can keep that at like 66% before our last mystery, we're doing very well. And Hot Bath may be really, really good for us. Unless we have Fetid Fumes, but hey. +1 Doom, -1 Reason. Yeah, that's not so bad. I forgot what the other one is, but anywho. Yeah, 5 stamina damage and a lot of wishing. So we can, I mean, if I really want to, I could take this in face to avoid Doom. But if I had to heal, we might as well run anyway. The experience is nice. You would be fighting this for the experience because, okay, so let me just calculate here. If for no other reason than to get my own brain moving, but yeah, 5 stamina to heal about to heal 4 HP overall costs 3 Doom. But if you really want to make up all of the HP you lost, you need to rest twice, so that's 6 Doom. So if I take this 5 stamina in the face, I have to rest twice. Now I do have Hot Bath, so that makes things a lot better for me. But you could also just choose to run away. I would normally choose to run away, because this is 5 Doom as well, but you don't get experience. So you know what, actually, unless something really strange happens, we should be able to do this. In fact, if I want to go the whole mile, do I want to do this? I'm just going for a handcuff play. I could also go for a non-handcuff play, if I'm feeling lucky. But otherwise, I think what I will do is, yeah, we can option select this. So if I don't defeat this enemy, unless I just missed that. Oh, why are my fingertips like this? Oh, my hand-eye coordination. Ah. You know what? No, we're gonna do another run really quickly. If nothing else, I do not want to end the character like that. That's such a bad taste in my mouth. And yeah, I'm breaking my own soft rule, but that's why it's a soft house rule. At the World of Horror, by the way, with 3 custom mysteries and random item stats. So this is gonna be it should be an even easier run, although keeping in mind, yeah, I'm playing a character with low stats overall, so pain. But as we move on here, let's just make sure. So yeah, that option select is normally supposed to work. If you're not me, you should normally be able to do handcuff tech, but yeah, I mean, if I wanted to be really safe, I should have just prepped the handcuffs, or just gone for a bigger play. Actually, no, but the odds were good that we hit both of those attacks anyway, so you know what? I'm just gonna stay mad. But anywho, also, we're on Ath. What a lie this is. But well, I mean, I would rather do that because at least I'm gonna heal stamina anyway. Light check, charisma, knowledge, second mystery, strength, and maybe Takshi-san, but essentially 6 stamina damage and 2 reason. And off we go. So yeah, we'll make this run a bit quicker, but I promise you that, yeah, that last run was really, 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 really bad. But anywho, off we go. So, in terms of just things you can do in World of Horror, hand-eye coordination-wise, you know, interestingly enough, since this is relevant because obviously Panstas has shown signs of life if you're being funny about it. Oh, that's why Scissor, we actually have Scissors. So, Phantasm, Scissors, not Metamorphosis, Shiba's, Shuttle. So, 2 boss mysteries so far, and then Household Hell. So, we'll take Household Hell first. I could have gone for the Scissors, but 1 strength doesn't lend itself to a lot of good turns. So, I forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, moving on. Gosh dang it. I always do this to myself. I'm sure there's a kind of condition or way to say, oh my goodness, Ghostly Spear. But I'm sure there's something to say about that, but I'm losing my mind at the moment, so off we go. But Oh yeah, so yeah, Panstaz has shown signs of life if you want to be funny about it, but essentially, if Panstaz adds more items or spells or whatever, usually item spells might be a bit trickier to use, as we roll a 12 there, but that a function like handcuffs where you can use them depending on the circumstances in battle. Funny enough, World of... Oh my goodness, by the way, hold on, I just need to be sad at what I just saw, because now I need more funds, but... yeah, basically adding more items like handcuffs will turn World of Horror into a more hand-eye coordination type game. I don't know, there's a more specific word to say, but again, I'm working off stream of consciousness. Please give me the army knife. I'm sorry. I'm sorry! I'm sorry I didn't have the funds. No, I'm paying for... Now I'm just curious. Oh my goodness. This is why I used... maybe I should just go back to hardware store at some point. We'll play till the end. I guess this is really a speed run. But yeah, if nothing else to talk till the end, yeah. So if you have an item that lowers an enemy's damage or negates an enemy's damage by... negates an enemy's attack the turn, if they are, say, a certain type of enemy, or if you deal damage to them during the turn, then again, that would be really interesting. Although an item that's forced to be used like that would be quite challenging. So instead, you would again just say that for Eldritch, like an item that may be hard to get. Well, let's just say it outright. So an item that's hard to get, but or an item that if they are an Eldritch enemy, you can negate their attacks. Now you might just say, well, Jordan, aren't you just going to use that before attacking anyway? No, because you can save that. So let me explain here. So let's just call it the Eldritch Dust. Say you have an item called Eldritch Dust. To use it, you need to use it against an Eldritch type enemy, and it negates their attack and has you take 0 damage. So you can't get any injuries, curses, so on and so forth, or it guarantees a dodge, whatever you want to say. But say you're about to defeat the enemy, so what you could do is go for a risky turn that's not guaranteed. Oh my goodness, 10 roll by the way. That's not guaranteed, so 2 attacks at 80% that deal 5 damage, and then the enemy has 9 HP left. Then you would launch that sequence. So say this is the turn and this bandage is instead, say, Eldritch Dust. You do this, and then if you don't hit both attacks, you use the item so that you don't take damage. But if you defeat the enemy, then you don't need to do that. I guess that's one of the biggest contributions I can add. Because again, it doesn't really hurt new players anyway, or people who can't do it, because then yeah, obviously it's less optimal, but it's a small optimization on top of... Actually, it can be a big optimization. So you know what? Say what you will about this, make your own judgments about this, but yeah, in fact, I was going to call this... I could talk about it again, because it is an interesting idea to say. If we ever get the idea, the chance to make items ourselves, basically. Shrug. But then that would also assume that Panstaz basically programs in a way for us to negate enemy damage by if we have a, say, custom item. If we have the ability to make custom items. By the way, timeline B. Bow, clap 4 times. So yeah, if we're allowed to make items or make any, cards that will call them cards. I like to call it cards because a long time ago, World of Horror was basically kind of like a TRPG, if that makes any sense. I'm not going to say that. Panstaz could correct me here, but I think you get what I mean. By the way, we're missing a bunch of these attacks. I know these are like 50-50, but, I just hope at times that I roll well, and, other people would roll well. I don't. So, oh, I wish I had Eldritch Dust for that. Well, that was a vampire enemy, but you get the point. Anywho. I was going to say something I completely... Oh, yeah. So, if Panstaz adds the ability to make custom cards, whether the item statuses, perks, so on and so forth, Panstaz would have also had to add an ability to basically have whatever card that we make lower enemy damage. That's all I'm trying to say. Because then you could make stuff, but you could still make some interesting things. But usually it would have these kinds of optimizations would happen in combat that make you have to do more hand-eye coordination stuff. In fact, again, if you give the player the choice to make items or cards, custom cards, essentially, then yeah, that's all I can really talk about there. So. I called this a speedrun. I think we're like 5 minutes in already. Yeah. Second mystery, 6 minutes. You can definitely do mysteries a lot faster. Are we gonna die here, really? Okay. Funny enough, we got 2 of them right. I normally get like 2 of them wrong out of the 3 I have to guess, but bow, clap, clap, bow, clap. I'll try to remember that if it even matters, but hey. But yeah, I think that would be something interesting to allow the player to add. I would not add... Well, again, you could add something like that as a base item or spell or something, but... it can't be too powerful. Although, again, that probably relies on the fact that you're dealing with what could be a bug, because again, I mean, theoretically speaking, it's not a bug, because it follows the rules of the game, if that makes any sense. So, what I'm talking about is that design-wise, when World of Horror was being designed, you can use... It's not like you're doing anything that would really bug... I mean, it could bug out the game, you never know. Maybe using an item during launching your sequence causes things, because the sequence still proceeds to launch. And maybe if you use, say, the handcuffs before something procs in battle... like, say, you pray at the end of your launch sequence, maybe as an option select, so that you can survive by stamina, then maybe that causes something janky to happen. But, I mean, say if you still died due to that pray action, then yes. I mean, that is still... Nothing's really bugged, because you brought your own stamina to 0, or a reason to 0, if something like that were to happen. Like, you didn't have enough reason, and you prayed for whatever reason, but used an item like handcuffs, and defeated an enemy. Maybe... But what I'm talking about is maybe there are bugs where you use the handcuffs and then you do an attack, and that attack gets queued for like your next encounter, which is a really strange bug. But nothing weird like that is happening. That's why I put forth this idea. Because theoretically speaking, from World of Horror, the game's point of view, nothing really strange is happening. It may not be intended by design. I think that's the more accurate thing to say. Using handcuffs in the middle of your launch action sequence may not be the most... may not have been intended, but it is something interesting that comes out as a result of the game being programmed and designed the way it is, which I think is actually pretty cool when you look at it. There are happy accidents, and a lot of that comes in for programming. I don't know how much programming, or even just whether programming or computer science or game dev experience Panstaz has, but again, it's not something like... I call myself a game dev, but really an experienced game dev can run into happy accidents because of all the variables at play when a game is going through. And I mean that both literally and figuratively. But as we continue, I think I've gotten farther than I have autopiloting here. In fact, my Doom actually doesn't look that bad. It is still bad, but it actually isn't that bad. So what I want to... yeah, I guess I'll take Hot Bat just in case I need the healing. I don't want to because our Doom is already high enough, but you never know, right? But yeah, this is definitely a topic to come back to again, because if and when we get custom cards, again, we don't know for sure what's coming out. Apparently, because I thought... So, I guess the last thing to close out this video before I possibly lose in about a minute or so, if things go really, really terribly. But, something I thought... Because I thought we were on a content update. We are technically on a content update, but I guess with the time... I don't know if Panstaz has this line of thought, but I definitely have this line of thought when I'm trying to develop my own games, is that if I spend too much time, like, releasing an update or whatever, or releasing a game in general, oh my goodness, that's 6 Doom. Anywho, if I spend too much time, I like to kind of bundle things in one. So what I mean by that, for those who don't know, and any veterans or anyone who's been with World of Horror for a long time can correct me on this, but I thought a while ago, and it's a long time ago, so things can change, but a long time ago, Panstaz says that updates are supposed to alternate between content updates and updates that do more for modding support or custom content, to use World of Horror terminology. So that's I'm getting some really good rules as well. But because the game has gone so long without any updates, I wouldn't really be surprised if, again, essentially you just work on both things at the same time. An update that adds content and an update for modding, for modders essentially. That's all I have to say. Yes, I just ate 3 all damage in the face, but I didn't want to run either. Doom at 85%, it's getting really, really close. Keeping in mind that, yes, I mean, I'm not saying this as a brag, and even though I am just dying left and right anyway on a Harbinger of Doom, but Harbinger of Doom is by far, it could be a lot worse, but anything worse than Harbinger of Doom, I mean, I think there's a very fine threshold right after Harbinger of Doom, difficulty-wise, that if you make the game any harder, it basically becomes a game of RNG. And at this, you might be saying, well, Jordan, isn't the game RNG already? No, because if it were RNG, win rates would be less than like 60-70%. And if you know what you're doing in World of Horror, especially if you know the events, because you could be playing with random events and whatnot, but, I think for the most part, if you're a good gamer, basically, let's just simplify it. If you're a good gamer, then World of Horror, you should win like 70 to 80% of your runs. Now, there are runs which you just get RNG'd, but those are factored into my calculation of 80%. So, like, 10 to 15% of your runs, you'll just explode because maybe you rolled Ayaka all perks into a Zektast Fatalist run, and then you immediately get, like, Vigil or something. But, anywho, charisma, knowledge, yeah, so we don't have enough stamina for this, but again, I was just autopiloting the whole way through. So, we do need to rest at least twice. I don't think we can rest anymore, though. No, we can't. Can we rest? No, we can't. No, because, yeah, if you enter the lighthouse at 94%, you're pretty much guaranteed to die, unless you have a way to lower doom, which, if you had a way to lower doom, you would normally do so already, but shrug. So, unless, no, yeah, we would have had to run to Takushi-san first. In fact, we couldn't even trade reason for stamina, because we have one reason now, so pain. But that's assuming I even get this right. Funny enough, I'm gonna say it's Mumu Ghost. It was not. But without further ado, hey, at least we have a video on our hands, and I'll see you in the next episode!